Hello, I am back. So I do have an apology to make to you all. I had that goal of this year podcasting pretty much every single week, but life has been busy and I've got a lot to fill you in on. And I've had a few messages from you guys as well, like, where's the podcast? Like, what have you been up to? What's going on? So I thought I'd fill everybody in once things have settled a little bit and we've got a chance to properly catch up. But outside of that, I hope you're okay, and I hope you've had a good couple of weeks. And again, sometimes it's nice to have a wee break from something, isn't it? And to come back full of joy again and enjoying it, or just picking up some different things you maybe haven't before, or being able to go back and watch a couple of our guest episodes as well. And even though I've not uploaded anything since like kind of the end of February, and like podcasts has been hit or miss this year, I've still been recording a little bit behind the scenes and working on getting a guest at least once a month. So I've got a nice little guest to come on. And I do really enjoy guest episodes. I love just chatting to people and sharing their story and sharing their like challenges and their things that they've overcame. Because yeah, I think that's something that a lot of us don't really see when we just look on Instagram and look at a photo, right? We just see the end point. We don't really hear the background story, and I love to kind of share that. Also, apologies if sound is really echoey. If you're watching online right now, you'll see I'm in a new building. So basically, me and Joe have moved to Portugal. It's absolutely wild. Can't really believe it. This has been a work in process for maybe like 2 years. So you might remember a couple of years ago, we went away for winter. We stayed in Spain and we absolutely loved it. It was like the best thing we did was go away for winter. Drove all the way down to Marbella with the dog. We stayed in Spain, and then we got home, and pretty much that full year we were like, how can we do this longer term, or how can we do this for a part of our year? So then we went away again last winter, and I think one of our podcasts, we've done one in Portimao, sorry, with Joe. And we were in Portugal then, and we were actually viewing this apartment pretty much that week. So it's very surreal to think from December to now we're here, and just the roller coaster ride we have been through to get here, and how long that process has been. And part of that has been Brexit. It makes it a lot harder for people to come to Europe and live in Europe. But also, like with Brexit, there hasn't been nomads and visas in place for people to stay in Europe longer term. So they all kind of came in last year after we left the first time. So we were waiting for them to be installed to then apply for maybe a Spanish visa. But the Spanish visa was really complex and really long. It was taking a long time to go through. We actually started that process until we found the Portugal one. And I've been to Lisbon twice. Joe did a marathon in Lisbon, and we also went on a family holiday to Lisbon, and I loved it. But I never ever thought, oh, I want to stay here. So when we were in Spain last time, I said to Joe, why don't we go for a week, and drive there? It was only 4 hours from Marbella. We've got the car, we've got the dog, so we could drive there. So we drove and we stayed over Christmas and New Year. And oh my God, we fell in love right away. We just, yeah, it's beautiful, so stunning. If you've been to this, the Algarve area of Portugal, it is out of this world. And I don't know why it's took me so long to finally come here. It's stunning. So we stayed in Portimao, and we came to view this apartment. And to get the visa, we had to have a 12-month contract. So it was very scary. And we didn't want to tell people because we didn't know if the visa was going to go through. So we didn't actually tell a lot of family and friends because we weren't sure if it was going to be Spain or if it was going to be Portugal. We have been very coming and going for like 2 years. I think our families are sick of us talking about it. So we did the visa, and we knew from getting this contract, we were like, okay, our visa could maybe be through by March. So it was a big risk. And the landlord was like, yep, I can keep it till March for you as long as you start paying in March. That's your contract. So we applied for the visa, and the visa came through maybe the end of February. So it was like all systems go, which is why, like, I've talked about this a few times before, like on our podcast, is about our dimmer switches. I've sent this in an email as well, and a lot of people really related to it. It's like we've always got that career switch, okay, like a dimmer switch. Then we've got our health dimmer switch, and then we've got our personal life dimmer switch. my personal was turned right up. My health and fitness was turned a wee bit down, and the professional career one had to turn down a little bit. You can't have one up full blast and expect these other ones to stay in a good level. They have to turn down. But what we don't want to happen is they turn completely off. So in terms to lead her, things for me that I turned down on was our podcast. I just couldn't find the time and the energy to do a podcast. I feel like I'm a very upfront and honest person, so it's quite weird to do a podcast without explaining what the hell was going on in my life, because we had to we're hoping, still not complete, but we're hoping to rent out our house, but they wanted to rent it out unfurnished, so we had to sell all of our stuff. So I was like Gumtree Pro, I was like Del Boy. Joe was pissing himself laughing at me on Gumtree selling all our stuff to people. I was having a great time, honestly. I really enjoyed it, and I think I really enjoyed it as well because it was like a direct, here's your item, they pay for it, they're happy. Whereas, like with a lot of the work I do, it takes time to get people happy, and it's a very long process. But to have that quick action sale done and dusted, it was really rewarding. And I always get that from like things like in the gym, like that quick hit that you get, and you see yourself getting better at something or doing something good. Whereas everything else in life is a very long process to know you're doing good, isn't it? And it's that's why people give up really easily when you don't feel you're getting huge progress quite quickly. So I was loving being a wee Del Boy, and I had my little cash stash in the drawer, like my drug money of all my Gumtree sales. So I was selling everything, so that was taking up a huge chunk of my time, turning that personal one up. We also had to do visa meetings, we also had to do just see family and stuff before we left. It was honestly just crazy. And I felt coming on a podcast and being like, yeah, you should do this and this and this when I'm stressed out my head. It just was one of those things that had to slide. My weekly email, I had to let that slide as well. But I was still making sure my biggest priority was our members and making sure I could be there for them, and make sure they're good whilst I had all this going on in the background. So my career switch turned down a little bit, but it was still maintaining the important stuff. Same with my health. We started selling all our gym kit. So like with going to the gym, we didn't have anything left in the gym towards the end, and I had to get up early, go to a gym which was like 20-minute drive, which is not bad, but when you're used to your gym being across the bedroom, to like drive 20 minutes there, maybe 30 minutes, depends on the traffic, to do the gym session, drive back, that was almost an extra hour out of my day that I would do stuff like this or have the capacity to think about stuff like this. So still managed some training. We did high rocks, which was great. We maybe could do a podcast on high rocks in a couple of weeks. But yeah, we did high rocks, so that was really tough and really challenging. And I gave myself a bit of rest after that. I did a couple of sessions after that, and then all the gym kit was gone, finito. But that's one thing I'm loving about being here, is that it's really central, and we've got a really good gym. 5-minute drive from here. We're going to get bikes, which is going to be a 10-minute bike, and we're in the gym. You could walk there in 20 minutes as well. So I've loved training at home. I have, but that's been maybe 4 or 5 years now at training at home, and I also work at home. And I think it's just been so refreshing when we have moved away to go to a gym again. Going back home, I've started to feel a wee bit like, oh, I don't see as many people, I don't get out of the house as much, and I'm feeling the effects of that. So I felt like it's really been a nice change for us to come here, and the gym is so good. It's amazing. And I'm so excited that it's like for me and Joe, like to have a good gym, to have a gym nearby, to have fresh fruit and veg nearby, to have more daylight and to be able to out in the house more is so important. It's like all our values in one. So there's so many reasons that we came here. But yeah, so for that health and fitness style, that turned down a little bit, but I was still making sure we were getting our food shop in right until we left. I think we had one day towards the end where we literally survived on bread that day, because we just didn't have much food left in the house. And then obviously traveling down was iffy with food, but that was probably 7 days in total, which for moving, I don't think that's bad at all. As soon as we got here, we got a food shop in. I'm sure you won't mind me name dropping, but basically we went for our first food shop here. We arrived on the Friday. I feel like I've got so much to tell you. I'm sorry if I'm rambling on. So on the way down, we stopped at Folkestone again, which we always do. We always stop at Folkestone. Then we stopped at Bordeaux, and then we stopped at a beautiful place called Salamanca, which I've never heard of before. But I guess maybe we haven't is because there's not an airport, I don't think, nearby. So like a lot of places are really busy, like Valencia or like Madrid, they've all got main airports, whereas Salamanca, I don't know if it does. But there's a lot of coaches there and buses there, so I think people maybe go on day trips when they're in Madrid and stuff. But it's called the Golden City, and it's because all the building is like sandy colour, and when the sun shines on it, it looks golden. It's honestly beautiful, and it's tiny. And it had a big square that's very similar to like the Venice Square when I was there. I was like, wow, this really reminds me of Venice. It was stunning. So that was like amazing for us. Like we love our little trips down and just finding new places to kind of explore and to go to. And then we finally landed here on the Friday and we got in, put everything in the house. We thought we'd better get a food shop because sometimes in Europe everywhere shuts on Sunday and you can't get anything. So we're like, we don't want to do that. And we also had a lot to do on Saturday. So we're like, let's get our food shop in. So went to Lidl, that's nearest us, that we went to at Christmas. And who do we bump into? Fraser Reynolds. So I don't know if any of you guys follow him on Instagram, but we went to uni together and he has his own fitness company where he makes a lot of meals. And I was in the aisle and I turned around and I looked and I seen this good looking couple around the same age and I was like, oh, maybe they could be our friends. And I kind of looked at them and then I walked away. And then I heard Joe talking to someone and I was like, oh, he must know that couple. So I walked back round the corner and I was like, oh my God, it's Fraser Reynolds. Out of all the people you could meet, like your first day here, you bump into someone you went to uni with. I was like, what is the freaking chances of that? Like, that is wild. So I met him and his lovely partner. I had a little chat and stuff, but he's moved here in December. But yeah, I don't know if you guys follow him, but I thought I'd mention it just for some of you that maybe do, that you can see how bizarre that is, or some of you that might have went to uni with us and think as well, that's crazy that you bumped into each other on your first like 4 hours here. We meet people that we know. Honestly, it's so funny. Me and Joel were just blown away. Um, so that was really fun, like bumping into them. Got our food shop, and then yeah, it was all systems go for the last week since we moved here. We're just making sure we had a sofa. We've just got some pillows and stuff. But we're here for a year with this house. Already been here 1 week now, 1 week and 2 days, and we have loved it. Straight away we feel it's been the best decision, because you know what it's like when I was back home and before we had our visas, I was saying to Joe, I was like, oh, I think we peaked too soon getting that house contract. We maybe shouldn't have done that. Maybe we should have held off. But you had to have the contract to get your visa, to show that you were committed to moving here and contributing to the society. So yeah, I was really worried, but yeah, everything's just fell into place so nicely. But we're also would love to stay here for maybe longer, but we don't know what's going to happen with these things. So we thought we'll do a year. We've got no future plan, and we'll still hopefully have our house at home if worst comes to worst. But I can imagine we'll maybe stay in his house for a couple of years. But because we came into an unfurnished house, like we had nothing, we had to do a big IKEA shop, build beds the first night we got here. Luckily, we got our landlord got the sofa built for us. So some things were built, which saved us time. Don't know if you can hear that noise in the background, but it's our fridge. It sounds like it's about to take off. So funny. So we've got a fridge that's theirs, but all the other furnishing are ours. So we don't want to buy so much if we're going to move again, but we also want it to feel homely. So we're looking for that fine line between like homely with cushions and a nice sofa. But if we do move, maybe we can take this all with us, or we can sell it all again on the good old Facebook Marketplace or Gumtree. So yeah, I don't know if that answers all your questions, but yeah, I think we felt we're in a position that we could move abroad with our jobs, with our age. We don't have kids yet. We've got Lola, she loves it here, but we'll see how summer goes. It might end up far too hot for her in summer. But we've got our internet, we've got good food, we can be outdoors more, our family and friends can come and visit. I think one thing a lot of people say with us moving away, do you feel like really sad to leave your family? But Joe's family's always stayed in Devon. That's an 8 hour drive for us, or an hour flight, and maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours to really kind of get to Devon, maybe even longer. So we only see them a couple of times a year. And then with like my family, they're a good hour away from me as well. We maybe see each other a couple of times a year. We don't see each other every week. So for me and Joe, we're always about quality of time together rather than quantity of time together. So we know family and stuff can come over, and for Lead Hard as well, I'm still planning on coming back for that. So we've already got a little 5K challenge booked for the first week of May. If any of you would like to join in, or one of our members, EJ, if she's listening, big call out to EJ. She's going to be pacing a 30-minute 5K for some of our members to get a PB. And we're all going to do it together and go for some brunch after. So if you'd like to come, let me know and we can book you in for that. But yeah, EJ is going to pace it so that we can just all follow EJ. She's done it a couple of times for some park runs, so we're going to do our own event, go for a nice brunch after. So I'm going to head home in May for that, and I'm planning on coming home maybe 3 times a year for gym events, group events, and maybe little fun things like the 5K as well. And then maybe catching up with family, getting my teeth checked and getting my hair done and my eyelashes done by Nick when I get home as well. So we're hoping that it's not going to affect family and friends too much, and we can spend really good time and also give them a good opportunity to come over, get a flight, come over here. Don't need to pay us while they stay here, and we'll feed them and look after them, and they can sunbathe and enjoy themselves and go on trips, and hopefully get a lovely holiday and memories and experience out of it. So it's really bizarre, honestly. It's wild. All weekend we've just been like, we can't believe it's our life. I personally always after uni wanted to do the whole traveling thing, but I never had the finances to do it. And now we're older and our finances in a better position. We were like, okay, why not? I know it's not something everybody does, but let's give it a go and see how we get on. And I think we were ready for it. Staying in the village in Braco, we loved it. We loved staying in the countryside, but I think we were ready for change. And this has been it. So it's just the beginning. We might end up absolutely hating it, but so far it's been great. And yeah, I'll maybe do a wee retreat over here as well, and you guys can come and visit, and we'll do some gymming, some runs, and a wee boat party if you're keen. Let me know. Give me a message and let me know who'd be keen for that. But I feel like I want to ask how you are and what you've been up to. I feel like I've not spoken to you guys in ages, but hopefully that's gave you a full update in terms of like where the hell I've been, what I've been up to, how this happened. And if you've got more questions regarding visas and traveling and being abroad, let me know. And if you're ever in the area, let me know as well, and we can catch up and get a cuppa. But other than that, I hope you guys are okay. I have missed you, and I'm excited to get back into routine with our podcast. And I hope you have an amazing week ahead, because I know it's getting brighter for you guys as well. So we're on to the lovely spring and summer months, which we can all enjoy. Have an amazing week, and thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you all very soon.